So the questions are, should I buy Arteza real brush pens? Do you like them? Are they value for money? Can I use them to color stamped images? Can I use them to color my illustrations? Do you really recommend to buy these? And after using Arteza real brush pens for over 2 years now, the answer is yes. I bought a set of 48 pens on Amazon a few years ago, and I use them very often to make cards or to add colors to images for cards or different paper craft projects, or just for fun. I just love coloring. So the first thing you need to know about these pens is that they are water-based, and to use them you need to use also paper suitable to use with water-based products or watercolors. For this video, I really wanted to show you different things I have done with the pens and to give you some extra ideas to use them. And one of the things I really love to do, and I found these pens really unique to do this, is to draw little hairs or fur on stamped images as I'm doing there. And this is very easy because these pens has a very fine tip. The colors of these pens are super vibrant, and you can apply more pressure on the pen to create wider strokes and cover larger areas as I did there. And you can also mix these pens with other water-based products you might have. So this is a very versatile coloring medium. I think they are value for money, but of course these are not the only pens I have, and I like them all. I really think that each product or each coloring medium offer different solutions. So I paid for my first Arteza real brush pens set, and just before summer Arteza contacted me to do some collaboration, and they asked me if I wanted to try some of the products, and they sent me a list of products to choose from, and I chose the pens just because I wanted to get more colors and give them a try. So they sent me the set of 96 colors, and I received a surprise that I will show you later on. These are some of the projects I made with only 48 colors. After 2 years, my pens are still in perfect condition. The colors of my projects are still vibrant. Some of these projects are older than 1 year, so the color doesn't vanish as other pigments. You can do many things with these pens, and this video is all about that. So stay with me. I'll try to show you as much as I can. So this is the case they sent me. So on top of sending me 96 colors, they sent me this case, and I was like, wow, look at this case. This is great for the price. It costs about £20 and it's perfect to store all the pens. So if you care about organization, this case is fantastic. I usually store my pens on these small IKEA containers, but I really think that the case gives me a better solution. You can have a visual here of how I store my previous pens versus the case, and you can make your own mind about what would you prefer. My little son grabbed one of my pens from this container and he tried to eat it. So I'm so glad to know that these pens are not toxic. And this is the pen that had the accident. You can see the nib of the pen or the tip of the pen, how it's looking now, but this pen still works and I still use it. So I have this idea, maybe it's a bad idea, but I wanted to pull off those hairs, just pull them hard. And when I was doing that, I just pulled out the whole thing. So this is a good moment. I was filming this anyway, and I want to show you how the pens are inside. So another thing I noticed when I saw this inside, I say, that's why this doesn't smear. Like, you know, sometimes you are coloring with some kind of water brushes and you get inky all your fingers. And it's okay, I love ink, I don't mind to get inky, and you can just wash your hands and that will go away. But sometimes that's not so great because you might stain your artwork. So this is a good thing about these pens, and I have to say it. Anyway, so I found a way to put this back together, and this pen is still working. Of course, I won't advise you to do this. And after all this pulling and all this manipulation, I don't see many hairs, fibers or bristles coming off. and I'm never this harsh with my tools. I pay for this one, spend my money on them, and I care and I look after them well, and I also store them properly. I make sure that the lid is in place, no problem at all. So yeah, that experience. So if you want to splatter the paper, all you will get is a soft splatter. These pens do not bleed all over the place, as I said before, and these kind of textures can be nice for a background or to add texture to your artwork. This pen has a flexible brush tip. This is made out of nylon, and these are my old pens, okay? So you can see there, I never have a problem with these pens, and the new pens are the same. You can see the fine tip of these pens there, and a thing I noticed is that now Arteza is adding the name of each pen on the barrel, and they are also adding the reference of each color, and they didn't have that before. Inside the case, the pens are already organized by color, so it's super easy to reach out the colors. The colors look different in the plastic bead of the pen, so I took my time and I made swatches. And when I faced the fact that I need to make swatches to identify all these different colors, then I thought, do I need all these colors? And after I did the swatches, my answer was yes, because although these are fully blendable, I will need to do all the blending to achieve new colors. They are ready to go there. And you will also get a light, a medium, and a dark color of the same shades. So you can also apply a kind of alcohol marker coloring system using these pens, and you might not need to apply water. And for more versatility, you can also remove this part of the case, and you can place these markers on your table like so, move them around and easily grab them. So I thought that was important to tell you as well. And at this stage you might ask, baby, where I can buy these pens? So my advice is to go directly to the Arteza shop. They have two shops, one in America and one in the UK. The links to these shops are in the video description, and Arteza also give me a 10% discount code to share with you. And you can use this discount code to buy anything on the Arteza shops. You can see there the price of the pens and the case, but you can also buy the pens alone, and you can also buy the case alone. In the website you will also see a description of the product, and very important, you will also be able to see customer reviews and check what other people is saying. Okay, so I wanted to try Arteza customer service myself, and just a week after I received the free products and the new pens, I placed a small order. You can see there the products, the prices, my name, and the date. This was about 4 months ago. So this is the time I had been taking to test, to try to review, and to experiment with the new pens I received. I remember the postage was free, and I received the products within 3 days. If I'm not wrong, I received them the next day. And I really didn't know that these were so affordable. I was looking to buy something like this to add accents to stamped images or to images I color using alcohol markers. These are water-based fine liners. So this means that these products blend with water so that they won't blend or bleed when using them with alcohol-based products. So for example, if you like to do sketches or if you like to draw, you can use these fine liners, and you can apply colors with your Copics or your alcohol markers, and the ink won't bleed. But that's not the topic of this video, so let's go back to the Arteza website. I found this package here, which is the cheapest one, or it has only 12 pens, okay? But when I check the colors, these include the essential primary colors and also tertiary colors, so that you can blend these colors to create new shades of colors, and the possibilities are endless. There are a lot more reviews about this product on the Arteza shop, and of course the notorious difference between this package of pens and this one is the variety of colors. You won't need to do any blending, and you will have more shades of colors because some of them might be very hard to achieve just by blending. And Arteza also sent me this watercolor paper. So I'm going to make the swatches on this paper, and I'm going to be using this image from this stamp set by Clearly Besotted. It's also a British stamping company, and I'm going to be using 3 different inks. I have here VersaFine, Nuvo Hybrid ink, and True Color Fusion Black Licorice. I don't even know how to say that in English, but this is an ink by Fan Stampers Journey, and you can buy this ink on the Spellbinders shop. I will add all those links in the video description for you. Next, I use VersaFine ONYX ink. All these inks are waterproof. Okay, so when you apply water on top of these inks, they are not going to bleed. And I'm also going to be using this Nuvo Hybrid ink that performs well when you use water-based or alcohol-based products with it. So bearing in mind that I need to do 96 color swatches, I just decided to stamp these images and to quickly apply color to the images, but to be able to guarantee that I know the name of each pigment or each color, I'm just going to copy them from the marker to underneath the flowers, and I'm going to do it in order so that I'm not going to get lost. So I did that with all the colors, and you don't need to apply a perfect coloring on these images. You just need to fill the image a little bit with that color just to have a good idea of the color. I don't know if it's important for you to watch me doing this, but I'm going to leave it, okay? I found extremely boring to watch color swatching because I'm not doing anything special there. The next step is to taste some aspects of the pens to be able to understand what you can do with them and what kind of papers or techniques are going to help you to do an easier work or more effective work with these pens. So I'm going to finish here my swatches. I'm going to play some music just for 1 minute, and then I'm going to come back and show you those little things that we might need to know about these pens. Just by making the swatches this way, I can talk about the pigment opacity. So if you see there, and I'm going to show you a close-up here, once you apply colors over these stamped images, you will be able to see the lines, even if the color is dark. So pigments could be opaque, semi-opaque, transparent, or semi-transparent. So the ink of these pens is transparent. If you apply the colors over a stamped image, you will be able to see it underneath. Or if you apply the color over the paper and you stamp the image later on, the images are going to look pretty much the same, or the lines of the images are going to look pretty much the same. When you use a darker shade of these markers, of course, you might not be able to see the lines so crystal clear, but you will be able to see the lines. You could say then that the color is semi-transparent or opaque, but it's not precise. These colors are transparent, right? Watercolors could be staining, non-staining, or semi-staining. In my opinion, these are staining. And you can prove this by applying any shades of these pens on an image and then try to blend this with water. So the pigment sink into the fibers of the paper and stain the paper. You can move this even if you spray this with water. However, you can blend the colors and there are very simple techniques you can use to do that. One of the things is that you might also think about using another paper and not always watercolor paper, because the watercolor paper will grab that ink quicker. But if you use, for example, a paper like Bristol paper, that is a smooth paper and it will keep the ink over the surface of the paper for a little bit longer, it will allow you to do some blending before the pigments sink into the paper. Here I'm using Arteza watercolor paper and I'm going to apply some of the ink of the pen on that watercolor palette, and I'm going to just blend that with a little bit of water, and then I bring that ink onto the paper just like that. And this is how I can blend colors. So I can blend the colors on the palette, or while the color is still wet on that flower, I can do also some blending with different shades of colors here and there. This is the way I can manipulate these pigments. I can also build up the color and add many different effects. The nice thing is the blendability here increases and it's just beautiful. And it's all about how you use your paint. The Arteza adorable people also told me that I could apply this technique here. And it's dipping the pen a little bit on water and then applying the pen directly on the image just to get a soft wash of color. I thought, how in hell I can do that? I'm going to damage the pen. I have never done that. But hello, it works like a charm. And the pen doesn't get damaged. And check out this. Dip the pen on water, come and look at the degradation of colors you get there. So I have seen in some videos that you might damage the pens. That's not true. Sorry, it's not true. It's just not. So then I'm going to do this with another pen just to prove the point. And although you can get this degradation of colors by applying that simple technique, the dispersion of these pigments or paints is very low. This means that when applying the ink of this paint on a wet area, the pigment, the color doesn't move. Or how this paint or pigment move on the paper? Well, it doesn't. You have to blend a lot of water there, and maybe you have to apply the paint on a wet area and then apply the pigment with a lot of water to make it move. The granulation is also very low. So these pens provides a smooth finishing. But if you dab the tip of the pen on a wet area, or just lift the pigment from a block and then you apply it on paper, you will create the granulation effect. So this is very important for you to know. There you go, 3 techniques to blend the colors, to create gradients of color, or to achieve a granulation effect. Let me show you another one. So you can just apply the color on the paper, and over the color apply or layer another color. You will see how those pigments overlap and they blend. I like to apply the colors on the palette, blend them on the palette and bring them to the paper. Yeah, so this is pretty much the first technique I explained. I apply very little color there, but of course you can go stronger. So only with 3 primary colors, yellow, blue and red, you will be able to create all the colors in the rainbow. And you can achieve bright colors, regal colors, and all sorts of colors just with those 3 colors. I'm not going to do that in this moment. Okay, having used Arteza watercolor paper, I cannot let you go without using Arches. And this is one of the best quality papers you can find. It's also very pricey. But of course, this paper easy, the colors blending, and it doesn't get stained as easy. So I also noticed just a little bit that the dispersion of the pigment kind of improve here, not a big deal, but it does. And you see there, the pigment moves a lot more if you spray water. In the Arteza watercolor paper, the pigment just don't move at all. This watercolor paper by Arteza really soaks the ink, hold lots of water, and the price point is really good. Depending what you want to do, you can use this paper. I highly recommend it. It's beautiful, the color is beautiful, and the paper doesn't even warp when you are applying lots of water. But at the end of the day, regardless the performance of the pens on one paper or the other, if you see me painting here, I'm painting over those two different papers, over Arteza and also Arches, and you will see the final results. So you can make your mind. Maybe you will be able to spot a difference, because of course these are two different papers, but I'm thinking that I had been very harsh on the Arteza watercolor paper because I'm comparing it with a paper that is twice or three times the price. And well, although I could notice a difference when I was applying the color, I therefore recommend this paper. In many years, I have learned to use different materials according to my budget. However, I always will advise you to use a nice quality paper. It makes all the difference. Arteza also sent me this pack of watercolor brushes, and I think they are pretty standard, but they are okay. They do what a water brush should do. They come 6 in a package, 3 with fine tip and 3 with a broad tip, and I use some of these brushes to apply the pigment from the Arteza watercolor pens to color the images you see there on my table. And of course, for some of these, I also use just the pen directly on the paper. Coloring this mermaid was an adventure, in case you were wondering, because I bought the digital file online from an artist, and I used my home printer to print this on Bristol paper. And when I applied the pens on the paper, the ink started bleeding, and it was a disaster. So I say, okay, I'm going to save this. So I just apply water until this stopped bleeding, and I keep lifting that ink from the paper using a paper towel, and I also dry the paper using a heat tool. So when this was dry, I was able to apply the Arteza pens. And the peach colors and the ochre and also the pink shades, they will make nice skin tones. Of course, you can blend some colors to achieve new shades, and well, that's what I did. I was testing with this mermaid the skin tones possibilities using the pen, so that's what I did this mermaid, to be honest. And I also wanted to show you some highlights and contrast. For example, in the mermaid tail, you can achieve this super easy by applying a light color first, and then you go with dark colors on certain areas to create the effects of shadows and movement. So that's what I did, and although I still have many things to say, I'm going to stop here because this video is just being too long, and I'm worried. I'm worried to make you feel like you're going to fall asleep there. So I think that I really have to make another video just painting and showing you just one technique, because well, although I show you a bunch of things here, it's a lot of information to grasp in one go, and I know that you might need a specific detail. So that's all for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and visit my blog for more ideas and inspiration. Thank you very much for watching, and happy crafting. Bye!